All right. Well, Brooklyn, first of all, thanks so much again for doing this with me. And, obviously you're no stranger to the Topeka area, of course, being at Washburn Rural and now, obviously through your first year at Kentucky. And when you look back at when you were a senior in high school, junior in high school, those 4 years, and now your freshman season over at Kentucky, what's the biggest thing you've learned? What are some of those things that, you look back on, you're like, wow, like it's just really cool to be able to succeed so quickly. What are some of those things that you maybe learned so far in year one at Kentucky?
Honestly, just like adapting fast. The game of volleyball has changed so much, and especially like from high school to college, it was a big jump. So I think just being able to like adapt and also like give yourself grace a little bit because you obviously know you're gonna go through hardships. And I think just like knowing that you're gonna make mistakes because it's your first year and just being able to like not be so hard on yourself, definitely.
And when you make that big jump, right, to, high school to the Power Five level, obviously we know your success there, especially at Washburn Rural, state champion, all that stuff. To see that big leap, was that the thing that you really were maybe looking forward to see how fast the game was going to be? What were some of those things that, you really were just looking forward to in year one? Maybe not the expectation part of it, but just maybe to show that, hey, I can play at this level.
Yeah, no, definitely because in high school, like you don't really know what else is out there because obviously you're just playing around your area. And I think just like going so far from home, just kind of, and obviously in the SEC too, which has definitely progressed over time for sure. And it keeps getting better and better. So I think just like trying to see where it's at, like you said, and just like competing at the next level because you can be good in high school, but it doesn't it doesn't always go your way in college. And so just kind of seeing like the things you have learned and how much you can learn even more because this year was definitely a lot of learning and a lot of curves to kind of deal with. So I think just like taking the game like in all of its glory and just kind of using the things that I knew from the past and also just being able to like learn the new systems that we were running here.
And how fun is it when, of course, you're playing women that are a lot bigger maybe than high school, taller wise, athletic wise, and you're not small, you're yourself being 6 foot. So what is it like when you play against competition like that where everybody's big, everybody can hit the ball even harder than what it was in high school, and everybody's just that one step better? Was that something you were looking forward to too, that the competition was going to be at a higher stake than what it was in high school too?
Yeah, definitely. Because in high school you kind of get away with just being able to like use your power and just like swing through. But obviously when you get to college against some of the best liberos in the country, you can't really do that. So I definitely had to learn more of how to like place the ball and kind of use the block more. So definitely like it was a huge jump and a lot of learning, but yeah, it was just fun to be able to kind of adapt to that new play of the game. And yeah,
When you come into your freshman season, right, you're not probably expecting a whole lot, meaning you just want to be able to say, hey, I can play at this level. And obviously you proved that in every way, shape, or form, winning so many different awards. And did you expect that? Did you maybe know that you could succeed that quickly? What was that like when you kind of get all those recognitions so early on? You're like, wow, like this is really cool. What was that like to maybe have those high expectations early on for you?
yeah, no, I definitely didn't expect it. Going in, I kind of thought I knew all there was about volleyball, but could have been more wrong. I definitely had a hard time at the beginning just adjusting to the game. So like going into the season, we had like a rocky start too as a team as a whole. And so it was kind of hard at the beginning of the season. And so with that, I didn't really expect any of the recognition or accolades that came from it. But I kind of just like grinded through it and like I was talking about earlier, like giving myself grace a little bit because I mean, I thought I would come in and just like pick it up right off the bat and was completely wrong about that. So definitely just giving myself grace and like knowing that I had an amazing team and coaching staff behind me, helping me every step of the way.
So of course, looking at up towards next year already, which it's here in what, 2 months already, or less than that for you guys probably. Um, when you gear up for summer camps and you kind of get in the groove of things, now you're a sophomore. Now you know what it's like to be at that level. What are those adjustments, or what are some of those things that you take away from your freshman year that you want to take into your sophomore year?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like having a new role in the team too. We lost a pretty big senior class, so we're all trying to fill in to different roles this year. And when you're a freshman, you have all those freshman awards that you're able to go up for, but that's not the case anymore. So you're competing against now every class, and you have some girls that are going to be fifth year seniors, and I'm just going to be a sophomore. So definitely just like you're kind of out of the like learning stage of it. So you're kind of put with all the big dogs now. So definitely like just learning more about the game and trying to like make an identity for myself because as a freshman I kind of did a little bit, but there's so much more I feel like that can be accomplished, especially as a team as a whole. And so I think just like taking it day by day, and it starts with preseason, which starts next week, which is crazy, but yeah, couldn't be more excited.
So let me ask you it this way, right? Because obviously, I mean, a lot of people would probably call you a top dog last year, being that freshman, and now that you kind of mentioned it, that sophomore leap when you're playing against fifth, sixth year seniors, how exciting and exhilarating is that when now people know who you are, people know your game style, know your game plan. Does that help you in terms of adjusting your game a little bit? Because obviously you want to give them the same idea or same things that you did last year. So does that kind of give you more motivation to change things up a little bit so you can continue to be that dominant player that you are?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a great challenge to have, playing against those older players that have been around longer, but also just like, I mean, they know my game from last year, but so much has changed in the spring and off season. So I think just going in with like kind of yes, I got some awards as a freshman, but like that doesn't really mean anything now. It's a whole new year, anything can happen. So I think just like trying to prove myself just this year and every year to follow, because you can be good one year, but you don't know what's going to happen the next. So I think just like not being satisfied with what happened last year, and just it's all motivating to be even better this year.
So I guess a question I'll have to ask is your biggest goals, right? Of course, you want to continue to win at the Power Four level, and um, what are your biggest goals in terms of whether it's blocking, whether it's hitting, leadership? I mean, there's so many things you can go down the line. What are those goals that you want to set for yourself for your sophomore year?
I think just like continuing to get those player of the week or like player of the year awards, but most importantly, hopefully like taking my team to a national championship. That's the big one for sure.
Absolutely. Well, hey, you know what? You're a state champion in high school, so there's probably no doubt you can't do it at the college level. And Brooklyn, I'll ask you as well, a big one too. And when you kind of, I'm trying to think how I want to ask it in terms of, you see so many different players, you see so many different coaches, you see so many different programs, so many different things that you see in the game of volleyball. What's the most challenging part about volleyball? There's obviously great things about it and probably maybe some easy things, maybe not. What's the most challenging thing for you when you kind of prepare each and every match that you guys have?
I think just like being able to kind of have like a core system that you're playing, but like obviously each team you're going to play is different. So like being able to take the scouting report and change a little bit about your game to kind of fit your opponent almost, and almost like being able to maintain your style of play going against someone else, and like not changing everything about yourself to fit your opponent. So I think that a lot of teams like really like try to change their whole system depending on what team they're playing, but I think we have a pretty good like core system we're running, and then just like fine tuning it against each team and what we see fits best, I guess.
And I guess one thing when you look at just communication, I've heard is so big. in volleyball, and you being that freshman and getting so much playing time, were you able just to kind of easily transition right away and be that, person to communicate? What's that like on the court when, yeah, you are the younger player, but communication is big in the game of volleyball. So how big was that for you to be able to not only communicate on the court, but learn at the same time from the younger or the older players, I should say? What is that like when you kind of were able to learn and be able to integrate yourself so quickly as part of that communication process?
Yeah, no, definitely. We always talk about here at Kentucky, leadership has no age. And so I think just like the amazing teammates that I had, like everybody was rooting for each person to get better and like do what's best for the team. So it wasn't like, yes, we're competing within our position group, but we're also here for each other. And I don't think a lot of teams have that where everyone's just like rooting for each other to succeed. It can get pretty hard at the college level because obviously this is your job almost, and it gets pretty intense when someone's seeing the court and someone's not, or someone who's been here. But I think just like for my game last year, I was more of a like lead by kind of like my style of play and like example because we had such vocal leaders already. So I think just like doing my part on the court and kind of like showing by example almost, because I didn't really need to be that vocal leader last year, but some of those leaders had left, so I definitely need to step it up this year. But last year for sure, like my amazing teammates and just kind of like having my game kind of like talk for itself almost.
Ask you this because obviously people know you're on the national stage and all that, but about your game, if people don't even know who you are, if people don't know who Brooklyn DeLeye is, how would you describe your game? How would you describe the leadership, communication, anything? How would you describe Brooklyn DeLeye if Kentucky, anybody does not know who you are?
Oh wow. Um, I'd probably say that I like personally, I don't think I can jump out of the gym compared to some other outsides. So I kind of say that like I'm more of a crafty and smart player when I'm playing volleyball. And when it comes to a team aspect, I would like to say that I push anyone beside me to get better and like um kind of they just like want to play with me because I always bring the energy and like competitiveness to every practice and game, and just that anyone on the team hopefully gets better just by playing with me. And yeah, I hope others see that in a sense. And like, I just want to be a player that inspires others, especially like when in the summer you have a ton of summer camps and like you're running things and you see a bunch of little girls that come that may have never played volleyball before or have, and you just see them at camps and then they come to games, and just being able to inspire them that like they too can play at the next level, and just kind of being that like leader for the young ones. Because I mean, I never thought I could be here when I was younger, but here I am, and I just hope that any girl has the aspirations that I did, and knowing that they can get it if they put in the hard work and nothing's impossible.
You bring up a great point, um, because it started for you when you were that age, right? And then you go from middle school, and you go into high school, and when you think about Coach Bordewick, right? Obviously you had him in basketball, state champion there. You had him in volleyball, state champion there. So a coach that knows how to win and has winning cultures and programs. And how crucial or how vital, say it however you want, how big of was he in terms of your success and maybe your development as you got to that Power Four level?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, a lot of people don't really know this, but I like played for the club. It was called Elite back in the day, and he kind of was like the person that ran it. And so I kind of played for him even before my 4 years of high school, and then I also like came up and played with the high schoolers for summer workouts when I was in middle school. So he definitely like was one of those that believed in me at a young age, for asking me to play with those older girls. And I think that just like him believing in me and always pushing me, just like got me literally where I am today, because he could have given up on me at any point. And I think just like playing for him in both sports, like you said, definitely like showed me like what it takes to win a championship. And obviously, he's had that success in the past. And just like you're playing at the 6A level, which is the best of the best in Kansas, and him just like pushing me and every one of my teammates every single day and like expecting nothing but greatness from everyone. I think just definitely like added that competitiveness to my game of play. And yeah, I really wouldn't be here without him because he definitely believed in me and pushed me to become my very best.
Brooklyn, probably one last thing I'll ask you. When did you obviously you I'm assuming you've wanted to play at the college level at some point in your career and now of course that's a reality and how cool is it? I mean, it probably is cool for you because you're playing, you're getting all this national recognition. Just is it cool? Is it fun? Is it nerve-wracking? What is it like being in the spot that you're at right now if somebody doesn't understand that?
No, it's definitely just like so surreal. I mean, you like always dream of playing at the college level, and not everyone is fortunate enough to be there. And so just being in this position and being able to like inspire others and just, I mean, kind of grow a platform that I can use is just so like I'm so grateful to be here and have this. Because like I said, like not everyone is fortunate enough to be here. And so some days like it's hard to go to workouts at 6 a.m. or practice, but you got to think like not everyone gets to do this each and every day, and so many people would want to be in this position. So just like never being satisfied and like knowing how fortunate you are has definitely played a huge role in my life, especially like my freshman year and to this point, because like I said, like not everyone gets to be here. So just being able to like be grateful each and every day that you get to wake up and be a college athlete is just something that you should never take for granted.
One last thing, because I didn't ask you it this way, and when did it click? Meaning when you were there on campus, and obviously it's been clicking for you, don't get me wrong. But when you go from the college level, we've talked about, it's a different game. There's so many different things that you can look at. When did it really click for you where you were like, hey, I maybe could have a really good freshman year and build on that? When was the moment, or when did you have that time where you're like, I I get it now, or it just was really like again, it just clicked for you?
I think like my journey wasn't like a specific moment almost like when I got here in the summer, my freshman year, like it didn't really feel like I was in college. Because like I said, it was summer and like you're just like playing volleyball like you normally do and have workouts. And then we hit pre-conference play. And so we had our first scrimmage and I got put in and I was like pretty nervous my first like college kind of debut, but I think for me when I like was really like starting to see results was when we first started SEC play. That was my first time playing 6 rotations in college. Before that, I was only playing front row, which was pretty new to me. But once SEC started, I really like noticed how far my game has grown. The beginning was a little rough and kind of a shaky start, but I would say definitely the first game of SEC was when things kind of started going up for me.
Well, Brooklyn, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for doing this, and good luck your sophomore year.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.